And one of the things I didn't touch on, which often when I'm dealing with two founders or co-founders, or when you're starting to scale the business, one of the things we can start to look at is people's risk profiles. How do you feel about risk? And that's a key part of your profile in terms of how you come to work, how you make decisions. And we've got a real sliding scale of people. We've got these real wide risk takers. They are our entrepreneurs and our founders who are happy to risk it all, absolutely less fear of failure. And then we start to see more brake come into their profile. So think of the accelerator, your foot on the gas. I'm absolutely going 100 miles an hour towards this risk. And then people start to apply brake, and they start to brake towards a decision. And then slowly we see different profiles, and they've got more brake than accelerator. And then we've got some people who are just all brake, and they're really the protectors of the company from risk. And they're really important to have in your business. You can't have all high risk people, because it can become a little bit too dangerous over time. So understanding each other's risk profile is so critical. If you're a founder and you're finding you've got a lot of conflict in your business, 9 times out of 10, it's going to come down to people's risk profiles, because you've got conflict over decision making, over how we're communicating, or what we're going to do and what we're focusing on. And if we all have different views around whether this is a risky decision or not, we see founders go, oh no, this is easy, let's just do it. And everyone's like, what? But we haven't thought it through. We don't have a plan. We don't have dates. We haven't done any research. We haven't market tested this. And they're like, oh, just give it a go. Right. And that creates all this conflict and tension. So understanding risk profiles is, again, another critical part of the work that we do, and I've done with you guys, in helping understand each other.
Once you understand the accelerators and the breakers of the business, right, do you then suggest a sort of decision matrix be formed for each and every one of these decisions going forward? So it's like, okay, well, we know that bloke's risky, and we know that she likes to put the brakes on heavily. How do we form a framework when we come up to a question that really determines the future of this business, and to take into account both those profiles?
We've got to have complementary styles, because if we put a whole bunch of high risk takers into a room and say, okay, well, we all love risk, so let's put us in a room because we're the go people, right? We're really attracted to each other usually anyway, because we're like, oh yeah, because we're all the yes people around here, right? And let's just be honest, that's what happens. Yeah. And then you forget to bring other people in the room who have any brake. What you need to do is actively bring those brake people into the rooms. They still have some accelerator, so they're excited by the idea. So Sam, you're a good example. You got plenty of accelerator, but you'd still have a lot of brake. And that means you're great in those conversations, because you're still like, yeah, great idea. Tell me more. This is interesting. Have we thought about this? Before we go ahead, it might be a good idea if we did blah. So your mind is thinking slightly differently, rather than let's go, let's go, let's go. You're thinking about let's go, but let's make sure we've got these things in place first. And they are absolutely critical.
And to that as well, it's almost as if let's have all of the information in front of us, and then let's make the best decision moving forward. Let's not ignore any aspect or any paragraph or any due diligence. Let's not ignore any of it. Let's get it all in front of us, and then let's make that decision.
Yes, and then the founder will be frustrated because you're slowing him down.
Exactly.
So that's where the conflict happens, right? It's like, oh, bloody Sam, he hasn't got me this report yet, and I've got to make this decision, and he hasn't done his due diligence. And that's where conflict happens, right? The reality of it is that. But actually being aware of other people's profiles, a lot of this comes down to awareness of like, that is critical, and I actively need to make sure that we do slow down. So a lot of founders need to learn to get that in place, because these people are protecting you in a positive way. They're not trying to hurt you. So again, even those founders understanding the motivators of those around them, as they're of value to your business, and you need to start seeing them that way. Otherwise, you're going to have some unhealthy relationships. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to like or comment below. If you want to find out what drives and motivates you, click the link in the comments below and take the free Predictive Index behavioral assessment and find out what drives and motivates you today.